All right, good evening, everybody. I know it's getting dark. It's not the... Does that make it better? Not really. But this is too bright. That's not bad. I can still drive. All right. I read a very interesting story yesterday. I picked up a book in the... They give away free books at the old school, which they're probably going to reopen soon in White Lake, where I live. And it's where we vote. They give away books there. There's a bookstore, used bookstore, and then certain books they just give away. So I'm pretty sure that's where I picked it up, over there for free. The autobiography of Bishop Fulton Sheen. I've seen some reruns of his show on TV every now and then, many years ago. He's a very talented speaker and very popular, obviously. I remember I was sitting with my Bubba, Zolgesundsein, and she said that his show was on at the same time as Milton Berle, so they would say there's Uncle Milty and Uncle Fulte. They were competing with each other, although in the book I saw a picture of them together, so I guess it was a friendly competition. In the book there, he describes how, actually it's not exactly the order that he describes it in the book, but he describes how he was offered, before he went to seminary, he was offered a full scholarship that would go through to his PhD. So he felt that he should get his PhD first, and then be ordained as a priest. He wanted to be a priest, but he wanted to be educated first. And his Monsignor told him, no, rip up that scholarship. He said, this scholarship is worth $10,000. He said, it doesn't matter, rip it up. Because you're never going to go be a priest if you get your PhD first. You want to get a PhD, you become a priest first, and then get your PhD. And I think, to a certain extent, we could take Musar from that, that if how important is the Havdil by us, that we should have a strong Torah foundation. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to get ordained as a rabbi, but before you go off to the secular world, a lot of folks say, you're not supposed to learn Kabbalah until you're 40 years old. But the fact of the matter is, it never says that. It says you're not supposed to learn Chochmas until you're 40 years old. And some people say that means secular wisdom. You shouldn't learn until you're 40 years old. Once you have a solid foundation, then you can start learning secular. Of course, I'm not 40 years old yet, and it's a different world today. It's not really a halacha like that. It's because it's not something in Chazal exactly. So it's not, but it's advice that our poskim gave historically, and it should be taken in context and understood. That's not really what I want to share here. There was another story which I was very impressed by. This story. It really it was misspelled to a certain extent by this very interesting story that so Fulton Sheen, he was ordained as a priest, and then he went on to get his PhD, and he wasn't so happy at the university he was attending in America, and so his professors asked, well, what do you want to do? And he described how he was interested in apologetics, whatever it was. So he said, you can't get that here. You got to go to Belgium. He mentioned which school in Belgium he should go to. I don't remember the name of the school. So he was there, and he was maybe 6 months away from his PhD. And he was, very immersed in his studies and very successful. More successful, perhaps, in the Belgian school than he was in the American school. And someone approached him and they said, have you studied Dr. Alexander, his writings? He said, no. Should I? I never heard of him. Should I know him? He said, well, it's been out for 30 days already. How is it that you haven't read it yet? Apparently, this Professor Alexander an American professor who was teaching, lecturing, I believe in Oxford, somewhere in England. I think it was in Oxford. And he had received an award from the King of England. I think it was King George at the time. I'm not sure. This was in the 1920s. But he received an award from the King of England for his essays, and which his lectures were based on. Something God and nature and the universe. I'm not sure exactly what the title was, but essentially he proposed a theory in theology that of an evolving God, which is real kfira, probably much worse than a lot of other religions. And this was, and the King of England was very impressed by this and gave him an award. Maybe the king maybe didn't read it and just someone told him to. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the king didn't care. Who knows? But he received some awards, so they said, "We want you to go there to him." They told Fulton Sheen, who was a doctoral student, they want him to go to England and go to him. So he approached him, Fulton Sheen. He went to this Professor Alexander. He said, "I want to attend your lectures." And he said he wasn't sure if he said they're on Kant or if he said you can't. But and anyway, he wasn't welcome to the lectures. However, shortly thereafter, he was invited to debate this Professor Alexander. There was this announcement, which he was not made aware of. It wasn't that he was invited to debate him. It was this proclamation was made that Father Dr. Fulton Sheen, PhD, even though he didn't have his PhD yet, will be debating Dr. Alexander. And he said Dr. Alexander from Oxford and Dr. Sheen from whatever the college was in Belgium, and he was very embarrassed. He said he didn't feel like he was worthy. First of all, he didn't have his PhD yet, and secondly, he didn't feel that he was worthy to represent his college. Who is he? He's just a student. He wasn't a professor there or anything. But he was scheduled, and he went. This Fulton Sheen, he went to debate this Alexander. Who I never heard this Alexander before, but I think everybody heard of Fulton Sheen. I mean, not today, but like in the old days, he was very, very well known. He passed away in I think 1983 or so. So that's before I was born. But he was very well known. Fulton Sheen, you can see his videos on YouTube and stuff. Even though I haven't really watched anything from him in a long time, I remember seeing him on TV and being impressed with what speaker he is and his demeanor. He was kind of funny, and you can learn, Chachma Tamen, Chachma Bamen Tamen. Whatever. So Bishop Sheen, he said, he wasn't a bishop then, he was a priest then. So he said Dr. Alexander, you believe in God, right? He said, yes, of course I do. He said, and you believe God is perfect. He said, did you read my lectures, my essays? He said, yeah, I read them twice. He said, so of course I believe God is perfect. So Fulton Sheen said to this Alexander, I don't understand. He was much more eloquent in how he described it. He said, that you're describing a God who evolves over time, essentially this real kfira, this real nonsense. And he said, that basically, you're saying that wherever creation is, God is like one step ahead. And as creation evolves and progresses, so too God evolves and progresses just one step ahead of everybody else. I remember on The Simpsons, Marge Simpson said, I'll teach piano lessons to make some extra money. And Lisa said, well, you don't know how to play the piano. She said, that's okay. I'll take lessons myself, and I'll just be one lesson ahead of the kid. And that's kind of how this Professor Alexander, his philosophy of God was like that that I'll be one lesson ahead of the kid you're teaching, and that's how he imagined God. I don't know on what basis he believed this. This was just something he made up out of thin air, really, basically. Maybe to explain how evolution happens, I guess. I don't know how, on the physical level, so there must be some theological reason for that. I don't know. I didn't read his lectures, but they seem pretty weird to me. It's just, I don't understand. So then, Sheen described this to Alexander, and Alexander said that you described my lectures beautifully. That's exactly what I teach. So then Sheen said to him, Fulton Sheen said to him, so then you don't believe God is perfect. You just think he's getting better. If he was perfect, he'd be perfect already. He wouldn't need to evolve. There would be no room for improvement if God was already perfect. So then this Alexander was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. So then Fulton Sheen said, could I invite you, let's have a chavrusa. That's not what he said, but let's study. I would like to introduce you to the philosophy of Thomas Aquinas. And he said, no. So this Alexander said, no. You only get famous if you come up with some novelty. If you just teach the old things, you're not going to be famous. I'm going to be famous because no one else ever said anything like this before, so that's going to make me famous. That's where Sheen stopped there. And we see similar things. People like to make chidushim, and they think that they made some chiddush that makes them a bar hachi. That's going to make them a meforsum. That's going to make them famous. That they came up with a novelty. But the novelty has to, by us, has to have some truth. You can't just make up something that it's a new religion and it's something. But the thing is that. And I don't mean to be rude, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. There's a Yiddish expression. He said, that's what this was my Zagorische cup, because a Yiddish cup would find the Chiddush in Aquinas. He wouldn't. Meaning he could be famous, not making up something new, but just explaining something old in a new way. But the thing is if it's consistent, that's the way we can get away with it. Is that we're going to show, homiletically in all different levels how it fits with what we have already, and then it's that's our chidushei Torah are all within the realms of truth. But that's the. That's the story. I want to apologize. I didn't mean to be rude by saying that. I've heard even people of other faiths use that term, so I don't mean it to be rude. It's just there's no other expression that captures that in the same way. But I don't know. I was very impressed by this story. The thing, of course, that Fulton Sheen left out, of course, is that nobody ever heard of this Alexander. I mean, I guess the King of England heard of him, but today, nobody's talking about this Alexander. And I think still to today, people still remember Fulton Sheen. All right, he's younger, I guess, or something. I don't know, but still, Fulton Sheen, for the most part, was just saying, all right, he said some chidushim. I remember I've only seen a few shows of his, but I remember this one, he was like, we're gonna go over the life of the saints, but who's the first saint we're gonna talk about is JFK. I mean, obviously not really a saint, but I don't know. But I guess that's how he was teaching it. I guess it's just, a certain camaraderie of Irish Catholics there, but so that's the story I want to share about Fulton Sheen. I don't know, I was reading it Shabbos morning when I was getting ready for davening in the morning, obviously in a place where I can't be learning Torah, and so I was reading that, and I felt that it could bring out a big, very wise lesson from that, so I wanted to share that with you all. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I'm sorry if anybody's offended, and I'm sure some people are going to be offended that I'm even quoting a Catholic priest, and other people are going to be offended what I said about the professor there. But we had a big bar mitzvah this Shabbos, and the town supervisor, he said it was an adult bar mitzvah for a postmaster, and we had the town supervisor present him with something, and he said, I was going to say that our postmaster treats everybody with respect, but I said, I'll say he treats everybody with equality. So, alright, well, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and I know people are going to be upset, but I look beyond who I was talking about and just think about what I said. If you care, if not, you can unsubscribe from me. I see a lot of people unsubscribe. I finally figured out where I could find out where people subscribing, unsubscribing. See, I have certain videos, 1 or 2 people unsubscribe because they're offended by it. So I understand, because today it's a free country. But I'd rather people subscribe. But if you like and subscribe, it helps the algorithms. It helps it helps me a lot. So I'm trying to make my way. For some reason that video about one of us that got almost 6,000 views now. Maybe this video will be one like that. I don't know. So like, share, and subscribe, and please. I see like 91% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. I'd like to get it to not that I want fewer people watching. I want more people to watch, but I would like to see at least 50% subscribe. I know probably a lot of people who watch my videos don't have a YouTube account, but if you have already a Gmail account, that is your YouTube account, because Google and YouTube are the same company. So you can subscribe, and you're going to see it'll personalize the YouTube experience for you by having your own YouTube account. I'm not just saying this for me, I'm saying this for whoever's watching who doesn't have a YouTube account, or thinks they don't have a YouTube account, but they probably do if they have a Gmail account or just a Google account, even if, that it's going to help you, because, let's say you don't want to watch me, you want to watch Hidabroot or Torah Anytime or whatever on YouTube. I mean, Torah Anytime you can watch on their website, but there's a lot of real Torah, not just my nonsense stories and stuff and politics, that you can learn. So, make the most out of it, Alright, well, God bless. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and all the best. God bless you. Take care.